Oh, Pizza Hut commercial?
Hello, everybody. I always,
Pizza
I always
Hut.
try to,
Oh.
I always try to talk a little light when we enter
Hmm.
because for some reason the sensitivity starts out like very high when I
Oh,
get.
fuck everybody.
Oh, that hurt me, bro.
My bad.
Literally, like as I was saying, it's sensitive. Your shit was still mad sensitive, and my ears were just like they just bugged out.
It was just an OD good looking pizza commercial on Pizza Hut. Oh, that's throwback. They
I
used to
got
sell
chicken.
those in high school for like 25 cents a thing.
I don't know how well people could see it because the light is bright.
You need a white one, a red, white, and blue.
I already had the white one,
White one is the best one.
and they said it's like mystery flavor. I was like,
Yeah,
ooh.
blue raspberry is sort of the watch. Those blue and red low key would be the ones that get left in the mixed package the most. White and green got eaten up the fastest.
I think I'm gonna save the blue raspberry for the last because I think that might be better than cherry.
You were just looking at I mean, just looking at. I apologize to everybody for screaming in their ears.
That hurt.
That's like you know when that happens? For some reason when I plug my cell phone into my car, I have to turn the volume up a lot louder if I'm like on a phone call or something. For some reason you got to put the shit all the way up to the max. And then when you take it out, the radio just hits you with some next level shit. Like, because it'll be on like 100. Like, you got to put it up to 100 to hear your speakerphone on your shit. And then if you still have it plugged in when you turn your car off, and then it's like, say you get in your car like 7 in the morning, you're going to work or some shit. Some fucking shit will just start blasting in your ear when you're not ready for it. Like the same shit I just did to everybody. Like how everybody started the podcast and they were just ready for like a "What's up, everybody? How you guys?" And I just yelled in their ears, and they were tight as fuck for a second. That's how I get when it's like a Tuesday morning, and I just came home from work on Monday. I called Molly on the way, like the train ride home, and I was like, "All right, I'm in the driveway. I'm gonna hang up the shit with my phone still plugged in." Tuesday morning, getting the shit at like 5:45 that early to get to 6:04 train, and the radio just hits me with some like next level shit, and it sort of fucks up. That sets the tone for my whole day. It
Yeah,
fucks up my whole shit,
yeah.
and it's so
My
true. Like to that saying that like one thing could just fucking fuck up your whole day.
and it's weird how it comes in bunches. Like sometimes if you have one little thing that's messed up at the beginning of the day, then you'll get hit with like 4 or 5 more things.
Yep.
It's never like you could have a rough start and then it like picks up and goes in the right direction.
Nope.
It's always like it's just one of those days where one bad thing happens and it's like it just keeps piling on top of each
Yeah.
other.
Like no one's ever woke up on the wrong side of the bed and then like made some banging ass breakfast. Like they woke up on the wrong side of the bed and then the whole rest of their day was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like no one was
And
ever like, I woke up on the wrong side of the day, but I'm having the fucking most amazing day ever.
and you know right away too. Like you'll get a good idea within like 5 minutes of waking up whether or not it's about to be a disastrous day.
OD. Yeah. Ugh, that's so crazy. And sometimes you could try and flip the script on it. Like I'll be like, I'm gonna have a good ass day today. And it's just like whatever the forces out there is like, nope, fuck you. Here's some snow. Here's, bunch of red lights. Here's like some
The
shitty ass songs on the radio. Sometimes it'll like the traffic lights will fuck you up and you'll hit every single red light.
That happens to me a lot. But a similar story to what you were talking about. I get that with just the TV. Like sometimes I'll turn the TV off and then I wake up in the morning and turn it back on
Oh,
and it's
well,
just so loud and I'm like,
that happens.
why was I listening to it that loud? I think that I've made myself semi-deaf over the years because just listening, like people don't even realize you probably do a lot of damage to your ears just listening to like loud ass music just a few times.
Or me screaming at the top of the fucking podcast.
Exactly.
I do feel like a dick because I could have yelled something a lot better than "fuck you" or some shit.
It's all right.
Yo,
But
yeah, I was so I was sleeping on the couch the other night, just like was watching TV. Molly wants me to watch some TV
Trouble in
downstairs.
Paradise, sleeping on the
No,
couch.
no, no,
'Cause-
no,
Oh.
no. I would say, but I was watching. I think she doesn't like me to watch like any type of like murdery shits or like any dark things before bed. It could be like I could watch Impractical Jokers or something funny. But it was I wanted to watch Better Call Saul, which, there's sometimes some dark scenes or whatever. And fell asleep, was in bomb sleep, OD comfy. And then all of a sudden at like 3 a.m, my TV hit me with the emergency alert shit.
Oh.
Yo, it was, and this is during quarantine. This is during like,
Yep.
I might have been having a dream. Like, I think I had a dream the other night that we were on some Walking Dead shit, that like someone came to my back door and was like,
We're closer than we've ever been to Walking Dead.
And then they want to do the emergency broadcasting system shit at 3 a.m. the other night. And it was OD loud and bright and fucking obnoxious.
So when you woke up from that, you were probably just up, right? There was no getting back to sleep after that.
Getting back to sleep, but there's that like shock of waking up where it's like, first, what's happening? You're mid-dream, so like your dream is sort of overlapping with reality for a hot minute. Mm-hmm. So that was when I was like, is someone like robbing my crib right now? And I was like, no. Now find the fucking remote and lower this shit or turn it off. And so I had to scramble to find the remote when I'm like half asleep, find the remote, lower this shit, then like turn it off, and then try to get back to sleep.
Well, I'm kind of amazed that you were able to get back to sleep, because I feel like if that was me, I think I'd be done. I think like if the emergency broadcast system wakes me up at 3 a.m. when I was like, let's say from like 1 or 1:30, I was sleeping like a baby, I think that would rattle me so much that like the second I hear it and I wake up, I'm up. Like I'm on some immediate, I go from dead asleep to like middle of the day, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon type
For
up.
real. But there's no like, it has to be like 2 minutes of being awake or some shit. Like there's a grace period of like, you're still, you could still get back into the butter zone.
No, it depends, because I've had it before where, you know how sometimes you wake up and like you're immediately 100% awake?
Yeah.
I've had that. I have that from time to time, but then there's the opposite, which is like sometimes I'll wake up and it'll just be like literally take me like 2 or 3 hours before I feel like a human. Like I'm just like zombie mode. I'm like zombie Joe Biden for like 2 or 3 hours. And then after 3 hours, I'll be awake. But like, it's weird how that works. Now, some days you're just immediately up, and other days it's like you almost like got to trick yourself to slowly like coming alive,
You, what the hell is I just gonna say? Probably
something about Joe Biden.
Yeah, it was about. I got something for Joe Biden's ass later, but why can't they do that shit like right after Ellen at like 4 p.m. or something like that? Like, why do they have to like? They know people fall asleep with the TV on. Like it's a common joke that like late night TV shows hosts make, like, oh, you'll fall asleep to me tonight or some shit. If they know that you're falling asleep with your TV on and you're usually in bed, like comfy as shit, why do that shit at 3 a.m? And one, make it a bright ass screen, and two, make it the fucking loudest sound possible.
I think what they would probably say is that if you do it during the day, more people are watching TV in the middle of the day than they are at that super late night slot.
But they're more awake. They're more aware of like what's going on and less shocked to that.
That's true. I'm just trying to give you what I think they would say. I think they would say that it's less annoying to do it at the time. Because how many people are really watching TV at that late night time?
Nobody, but the shit's on. I would like to see a percentage of how many TVs are on from like 12 to 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I would just like to see. I would love to see how many people are awake, how many people fall asleep with the TV on, because I'm curious. Yeah. I'm very curious as to what that number is, because I don't know, man. What would you guess if you had to guess? What percentage of people fall asleep with the TV on?
I would say a high amount, because shout out to Corin's World. If anybody saw my video with Molly,
are you gonna shout out your own channel like it's somebody else's?
Shout out to this channel, Corin's World, man. Shit is fucking flames on YouTube. Go check it. No, me and Molly did a discussion of do people fall asleep with the TV on or not? And like, I'm not even gassing my own shit up, but like it was 50-50. I had mad people hitting me up like, yo, you were mad, right? Like the TV's got to be on. You got to watch some shit to go to bed. Then other people were like, nah, dog, got to be pitch black. Turn the shit off. So like, I think it's got to be a high percentage of TVs that are on while both people are sleeping.
But like a very a very high percentage of people have unplugged completely and they don't have cable. So like they're out of the equation up front. You could
Nah,
say
if there's a pie chart, it's like it's got to be there. That slice of the pie of people that don't have cable has to be like 2% or some shit. You think there's a lot of people that don't have cable?
let's look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now.
I knew one kid. Shout out to Ben Z. He did a couple chats. Like he growing up didn't have cable, but like outside of like when I found out that he didn't have cable growing up, I was like, there's something wrong with that family.
Okay, ready? 49% of Americans age 50 to 64 say they stream less than cable. Okay, that's not what I asked. Nearly 60% of Americans are getting streaming and Netflix cut the cord. Okay, I got to find this.
This is recently though.
19% of households lacking cable or satellite TV service cited using internet-based services instead. That's not what I'm asking. Like they don't they never give you like the exact thing you're asking for. What I'm asking for is not that hard.
I think it would be like 80% have a TV and cable. No, I would even say like 89%, and then what's the rest? 11% don't have cable in America.
Nah, man. Yeah, I just found it. Ready? Survey shows almost 60% of Americans have ditched cable TV. So only 40% have it.
But that is probably some recent shit of people who've ditched it to go to like Apple TV or Hulu.
But that's what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about like growing up in high school. Ben Zupnik didn't have cable. Like
he was in the minority for sure back then.
That's what I'm saying. Like now people are streaming shit and finding other sort. Like he didn't watch any like TV growing up. Like nothing. There was no like if they wanted to watch some shit, it was probably a movie.
Yeah, that's very foreign to me for sure. But this is what I'm talking about though. That like right off the bat, if 60% of Americans or almost 60% of Americans don't have cable TV, then a lot of those people are not falling asleep with any. Well, I guess they could fall asleep with some, like maybe Netflix on or Hulu or something. You know what I'm saying? Like some percentage of them could fall asleep with us.
Yeah.
And we're counting that obviously, right? Because the idea is just like what are you falling asleep to on the screen? Like something's playing on the screen, no?
Well, I'm not counting it just for this sense because that counting it comes a follow-up question of then does their emergency broadcast shit come on? So they wouldn't fall into that. Have it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like they don't fall into the like I don't care if they fall asleep with their shit on because they're our next part of our question doesn't apply to them. You see what I'm saying?
So that means it's about 40% of Americans that have cable. Of that 40%, what percent falls asleep with the TV on? I don't know. I would say maybe of the people that have cable, maybe 20% of them fall asleep with it on. What would you say?
Yeah, I would go a little over 50%. I would say like some 25 to 28% of people. 25 to
28% of people with cable, you're saying
fall asleep with the shit on.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about right.
And out of those people, how many have got with the emergency system shit? Got to be all of them, right? Because that shit's happened to everybody.
Well, no, because I fall asleep with the TV on quite a bit, and I've never gotten that.
What?
But then again, I do a semi Jedi trick. I always like lower the volume a lot before I go to sleep. Like I feel like as the day goes on, my hearing gets more sensitive, and then like towards the end of the day, I got the volume super low.
I don't know, actually. I kind of am going the other way on that shit. I think I could start the morning off with that shit super low, and then by the end of the day, I crank that shit up louder.
No, it's the same for me, but it's on both ends. So, like, when I wake up, I need to hear the volume super low.
Oh,
and
so
then gradually work my way up. And then before I go to bed, I lower it quite a bit. So, like, for the final hour, it's very quiet and the volume super low.
But here's my question. Why can't that shit just be a fucking, like, chiming bell sound? Why does it have to be the most obnoxious, like, man, like, why can't it just be some birds chirping or some shit? It's getting the same point across.
Birds chirping.
like dead ass. Why can't it just be like a fucking like a bunch of dogs running across the screen and like birds chirping or some shit. Like
dogs running across the screen.
Like run the Saving Pets commercial for that shit or something like that. Make it some peaceful ass shit.
No, but that's the thing is it's the emergency broadcast system, so it's got to get everybody's attention. So you can't just do it's not like the cuteness broadcast system. It's the emergency broadcast system. So you can't just do cute puppy dogs or something like that.
But what I don't get is if my TV's off. So I say I turn my TV off, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does it run its little fucking emergency broadcast?
I guess you wouldn't know unless they also send out like an emergency phone call or something, you know?
Why can't they just run whatever they run when my shit's off when my shit's on?
Imagine they did it. Okay, there is no emergency phone call because you never get an emergency phone call. Like there's never an emergency phone call.
That's what I'm saying. Like it sounds and feels like some scam shit. It sounds like they're doing some weird shit. Like the dude who hits that button is definitely like getting some cheeks like while that button's being pressed. Because
I wonder why that was created. I wonder why it was created. Like, why was the emergency broadcast system created? I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna guess the Cold War and like the threat of a nuclear strike.
And why do they have to do it through my TV? Like they do shit through my cell phone all the time, and more people would hear their cell phone over their TV. I don't know. I don't understand the whole emergency broadcasting shit.
When I type it in, the first thing I typed, why was the emergency broadcast system? And the first thing that comes up is so scary. We just want to know why it was created. And people are asking, why is it so scary?
I feel them. That shit is dumb scary, man. I woke up like paranoid. And
the system was established to provide the President of the United States with an expeditious method of communicating with the American public in the event of a war, threat of war, or grave national crisis. Yeah, but like, okay, so right now we have that shit. Like we have the coronavirus, and we have like the whole country's locked down. They didn't use the emergency broadcast system. He just did like a regular address from the Oval Office, and everybody said in advance, like, yo, 8:00, he's gonna give an address. It was never like
and it's always a test. Like we're going through the most like drastic shit right now, like you just said. And there's never been a real emergency broadcast shit. It's always, this is a test. This is a test.
Did they even do it like when they had the 3 Mile Island like nuclear meltdown? Did they even do it then? I don't think they did. They never do it. Even when there's a legit, like even on 9/11, did they do it on 9/11?
That's what I'm saying. Like I think there needs to be a bigger conspiracy theory around emergency broadcasting system. Someone's getting paid every time that shit goes off, or some weird shit's going on when that happens.
I'm looking it up. To silence the alert system. Why didn't they use the emergency alert system on 9/11? They didn't use it. Why do you have it then? We got attacked. Now we have a pandemic where like a virus is killing people. And they just never used it. It's like, all right, if you're not going to use it in those two situations, then you're never going to use it.
And I got another bone to pick with Trump and everybody who from Illinois that wants to get on TV and tell us, about the coronavirus. Do that shit in the 6:00 news hour. Like, why do you always have to do it through Ellen at 3:00 or some shit? Like, it's always the first 40 minutes of Ellen. Trump's up there talking. Like, and then
you know what?
I'm done. The news comes on. So why can't they just wait till the news comes on?
I'm siding with Trump on this one because I don't know why the hell you're still watching Ellen. I want them to take away that from you.
But it just doesn't, like, there should be everywhere across the board at 6:00 or 5:00. It might be. Is New York's got the news on? Illinois got the news on. It's after Ellen. It's always the news.
Am I the only one though that when I see, like, if you have on CBS or ABC or any of those channels or NBC, like though that like 6:00 news that they do, like the state news, man, it gives me like bad vibes. Like I have to change the channel immediately when I see, because like the broadcast quality, I mean, I'm not hating on the fact that they have a lower broadcast quality. Look at us, we're doing a freaking Skype call for our podcast. But what I am saying is it gives me weird vibes. Like I get a weird vibe when I see that local news thing, because I'm like, this is just trash. Like it's never, all the stories are stupid. They always lead with like, somebody robbed an ATM in Queens. And it's like, I don't care. This isn't a leading story. Like, what are you talking about? Why? Like, the things they focus on just seem so stupid. And the people are same. Like, all those newscasters are the exact same person. Like, they're all trying to, be the same person. You know?
Yeah, it's the same thing with weather people. Like everyone is trying to have a little shtick. Shout out to Al Roker. He's got coronavirus. I knew his day would come because he was mean to my dad, and I'm not a fan of Al Roker's. I hope he gets well. But
Action lost.
Oh, for real?
And you're back. You're back
Okay.
now. Did you hear me that whole time when I was talking? You heard that?
I heard. Yeah, I heard up until that they're all the same people.
Oh,
and then I was just shitting on Al Roker, so it's probably better that my whole shit got cut out because he's got coronavirus, right?
He has it too.
Yes, I'm like 80% sure that he's got the shit.
Oh my! I'm gonna look that up. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and I said like karma was gonna have its day because he was mean to my dad at the airport that one day.
What did he say?
My dad asked him for a picture or some shit, and he was like, "Can't you see I'm reading?" And he was just an OD dick to my dad. So ever since that day, which was probably like, my dad probably made up that story, but I still am not a fan of Al Roker's. Does he have it?
No, doesn't say he does.
Oh, all right. My bad, Al Roker.
Where'd you hear that from?
I think Molly. I think Molly told me that shit, and she's usually good with her facts.
I wonder where she heard that.
I don't know. But,
what happened to Charles Barkley though? Because they were saying he might have it, and then they just never updated us.
No, he came out the other day and said he's good.
Oh, okay. Because I was checking like 4 days after, 5 days after, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, his shits came back actually mad like later, but because it was just like 2 days ago. He was like, "I want to thank everybody. I'm feeling a little bit better, and I don't have the virus," which gets me back to just like. Not my skepticism about coronavirus, but like every person who announces they have it says they're fine. Like they feel fine.
Yeah, but you're just not seeing the cases where the people are dying because they exist, you know?
But why isn't it like, why haven't I seen like, I don't know. I understand it's very, very bad and very serious because that shit is spreading like fucking crazy. But it's not affecting anybody, it seems like.
No, it's just none of the celebrities that we're talking about. But there are plenty of cases. If you go to Google and type in coronavirus death, you'll see today there was a 18-year-old who died in LA.
Yeah,
there's
like
a man in his
26-year-old like athletic kid or something that got it in New York or some shit.
Yeah, okay, and hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me just I'll give everybody a little bit of an update because.
But according to Trump, we're going to be all back in church by Easter.
Yo, not for nothing. If he goes through with this, over 1 million people could die.
That's crazy.
Because our hospitals are going to be overloaded like crazy, and the experts say that like 50% of the country will get it in that scenario, and if 1% of those die, and it'll probably be higher than that because our hospitals will be overloaded. But if 1% of those people die, that's over 1 million people. That's like 1.65 million people.
I got to apologize to my man, Mr. Fauci, because low key, he's a good dude. I'm like a huge fan of him right now. I might donate to him if he's got to GoFundMe or something.
You were randomly mad at him, and I like how Davina was like, "Bro, what? Like he's just a doctor. Like why is he bad?"
I was just against anybody who was standing up on stage with Trump. But then, she was like, "Did you even look up anything on him?" And I was like, "Nah, but fuck him." And then I saw that he was just like a doctor for every single president, probably like ever.
Well, he's a doctor, and like Davina's right that we need smart doctors around Trump right now because we need them to try to convince him. I know. Trump has a bunch of idiots around him, and he's an idiot too.
Yeah.
But he's got Larry Kudlow, a dude who was a CNBC host who's been wrong about everything. He's a big like economics guy. He's been wrong about everything he's ever said, and he's one of the people trying to convince Trump like, "Hey man, we got to get the economy back going." But here's the thing that's crazy. Like if Trump says after 2 weeks, "Okay, we're going to go back to normal." That's not going to guarantee that the economy's all good. Like so now you're just going to the economy's going to continue to plummet and more people are going to die because of the decision, So it's like, why would you even consider this?
Well, that's why today that's why I respect Fauci. I sort of fuck with him because one, I tweeted out, because he wasn't up there yesterday, and that's what sort of set me off initially. I didn't really do any fact checking, and I was just like, fuck him, I don't care where he is. But then he came back today on some G shit with a fresh ass haircut on some shit that me or you would do. Like, even if we were working at the White House, he must have like the illest barber in all of Washington, because he must have made an appointment with he probably got a Dominican or a black barber or some shit. And he definitely hit them up beforehand, like maybe a couple weeks back, and was like, yo, I need a cut. And they're like, yo, homie, I'm booked 2 weeks out. He was like, all right, what's yesterday's date?
22nd, maybe? No, 23rd was yesterday.
All right, so he was like, March 23rd, I got you, but it's afternoon shit after the day's done or whatever. And Fauci was like, bet, nothing's going to be going on. Told Trump, like, yo, got a haircut appointment, can't miss that shit. And he dead ass went to it, Came back with a fresh cut today, like nothing happened.
I love how this is the reason why you like him, because he got a fresh cut.
Because I respect, you can't come back. Like, if he just came back on some regular shit, same looking ass hair and everything, and talking like he was fine, I'd be like, fuck that guy, because he was doing some shady shit yesterday. But he came back with a fresh cut, so like he really was like, I'm gonna go get fresh. Like, we're gonna be on TV every day. I gotta get blessed real quick.
What could he be doing that's shady? He's just a doctor who's trying to like stop the spread of a pandemic. There's nothing shady he could do.
If you're not there, like, you got to assume that he had coronavirus, right?
No, I was just thinking that Trump was mad at him because he had spoken to the media, and like the media is trying to get him to hate on Trump.
Yeah.
And so I think, Trump always sees whatever's written about him. And so he was probably just like mad at Fauci for talking to the media. That's what I thought. I thought he was like kind of getting punished, but at least he's still there. I'm just happy he's still in the administration, because we need as many doctors and experts as possible around Trump right now, countering whatever the idiots are saying, who are the Wall Street guys who are like, just, because the economy fired back up again, baby. It's like, no, that's not the way this works. You can't just like the idea that we send people back in 2 weeks, we're not even going to hit the peak of it yet. Like, we're still climbing. We're still climbing, and you're going to send people to work and act like everything's okay? Are you insane? But anyway, I wanted to give people the numbers, so I pulled it up right now. This is for the United States. The cases right now for the United States, 54,141, and this is official cases. This is not the actual number. This is the number that have been tested for and shows that they have it, So the real number is over 1 million, I bet. But yeah, now we have, in one day, 8,800 new cases, and we're testing slowly. Yeah. And we have 750 people have already died in our country from it. 750 people. So, yeah, you haven't seen any celebrities die yet. Mm-hmm. But the death rate here is 1.39%.
It is. I will give you this. It is starting to become eerily more, you are starting to see more deaths now, which, in the beginning, you just heard, like, oh, Tom Hanks has it, Donovan Mitchell has it, no symptoms. But now is like the part of it where you are starting to hear reports of more deaths. I saw on Facebook a girl, her grandmother passed away. She was 99 years old, but it was from coronavirus. So now is like the stage of it where like fatalities could start to be kicking in, whether it was like, you're in week 1 of, your 14-day period or some shit. Like, I think it's just the start of a trend that maybe we'll see, not that I want to see a celebrity pass away or something, but I think this is just the tip of what is going to happen.
And they're trying to figure out why it is that some people get affected by it so terribly and die, and why other people don't. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they were talking about today, there was a study that came out that I just saw, where apparently if you have certain blood types, it impacts you harder than if you have other blood types.
Yeah, I heard that shit too.
I think it's type A blood
is no good for it, right?
Is no good. Yeah, you get hit harder if you have type A, but if you have type O, it doesn't impact you as much. I don't know how verified that is. It was just one study, but they're trying to get to the bottom of it. Like, why is it that? Because it appears like there's no rhyme or reason to it, because there have been plenty of healthy young people who've died from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's old people who are out of shape, but then there's also healthy young people. So, doctors are like, what's going on here? And they're trying to figure it out. And one of the things they said was blood types. So do you know what kind of blood type you are or no?
I want to say I'm O, but I don't know. I think I'm O, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I don't know mine either, but I think I'm A.
Oof. It's
social distancing, baby. Social distancing, everybody.
I mean, you told me today we might have a boy that potentially has it. He's a doctor.
We have a boy who has it.
Yeah, I didn't want to like fully put it on blast.
We're not saying his name, but
he has. But he's a doctor, and you said he's still going. Like he still has to operate. He
decided today he can't.
Oh, good.
He was gonna try, but his symptoms got a little too strong, and he was like, "I'm not gonna do it."
Yeah,
I told him, I was like, "Yo, go get the medicine now," because all the evidence I've seen is that the medicine works for mild and moderate cases, but once you get to a severe case, it doesn't work. So I was like, "Yo, right now, while your symptoms are moderate, go get it, because then you have a better chance."
Fuck.
And he was like, "Oh, we got a shortage of medicine, so we want to like save it for the people who really need it." And I was like, "Yo, with you healthy, that helps a lot more other people because you're a doctor helping fight it."
Yeah. His theory is not like the right one, in my opinion. Like, you need to save yourself. Like they even say that on airplanes. Like, buckle your shit. Like, put your mask on first before you help somebody else. Like.
Yeah, but this is even stronger than that because he's a doctor and he's helping fight this illness. So we need him healthy to help other people as well. So, and again, if you take the medicine, it's the one that Trump talks about.
That long ass name,
the chloroquine. And by the way, the media is being so disingenuous about it. They wrote an article about, these people ingested that medicine that Trump was talking about, and then they got sick and died. And then you read the article and they say it was like fish tank cleaner that they drank. And they act like it's the same thing as the thing Trump was talking about. No, he's talking about pharmaceutical grade chloroquine that's made to be ingested by people. And they're comparing it to a freaking fish tank cleaner because a bunch of idiots drank fish tank cleaner. And they're blaming Trump for that. I mean, it's like, come on. And you wonder why he says fake news. And you wonder why he says you guys are dishonest. That is literally dishonest what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's flat out dishonest. And it's like, come on, man. It's just so pathetic. But yeah, that drug they've seen does help people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but again, the issue is when you get to the severe symptoms, it's like nothing works at that point, and then they got to intubate people to make sure that they keep breathing. So, like, I was like, yo, just go get it now. Go get the medicine now. Are you kidding me? If I would immediately do anything I can to get my hands on that kind of medicine in that situation.
Fuck yeah. I stocked up on, like, I got a box of Mucinex, I got Tylenol, just like, you never know. Like, you got to have some medicine in your house.
They say, like, ibuprofen makes it worse. They said.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's one of the...
Fuck. If I thought I had that shit, I would feel better just taking that shit,
What if it makes it worse? It's not worth it.
I don't care. I would think that shit is helping.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You want to do anything in a situation like that because you want to feel like you're having an impact.
Exactly. Like they say drinking hot tea helps because it could kill the shit in your throat. Like,
that's
whatever
definitely not
makes
what
me
they
sleep
say.
better at night. No, I heard that hot drinks could potentially help, kill the virus in your throat or whatever.
It probably helps your throat. I don't think it kills the virus. That's not the way viruses work. Like the virus is already all up in your body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like but you're right. Like do some shit that helps.
Yeah.
Something that feels like you're being proactive and fighting back against it. A lot of people have been saying, oh, they were sick like a couple weeks before this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. They
were like really sick. I've seen so many people talk about that.
So what's that mean? That they had it and beat it?
I think they had it like before, the official cases started popping up.
Possibility. I mean, like, who knows? It could be in our blood system or some shit.
But it could have also just been a regular,
Yeah.
Because it was the middle of the winter anyway. It was like
you could have a regular cold now too, without having coronavirus.
Yeah, that's true. Although I would be scared as hell if
I know,
if I got sick.
Yeah, a regular sickness would be scary as fuck right now. But also, there's, and this is what I was doing, was starting to think, I had symptoms, and like, I'm sure there's a lot more people more worse, than I am. Like
Well,
Molly
yeah,
now is never paranoid, but she's like, she'll cough a little, and she's like, fuck, like, do I have this? Like, do I have temperature?
yeah. Well, yours was always, you never had any other symptoms. You were just like, oh, I feel a little short on breath. But then
Yeah.
I'd ask, like, all right, do you have a sore throat? No. Are you coughing? No. Like, it was always, there was nothing there except you you would like do something and then be short of breath. And I'm like, that's just called doing some shit.
But, I just ran 18 miles. I'm out of breath. I might have this shit. You're like, yeah, you might, dog. No, but for real. So my man Fauci leaves, comes back, and then he did sound a little suspect today. Did you hear him talking?
Nah, but that's happened a lot with all of them, man. Like there was a moment when Trump was sounding suspect. There was a moment when Bernie was sounding suspect. To now, Biden is sounding suspect.
The Dr. Bricks said she had a low-grade fever, but she was still on stage, and she's pale as shit. She's looking suspect.
Everybody's so, not for nothing, everybody is so obnoxious because everybody I've encountered and everybody we're talking about right now, everybody feels like, yeah, but other people get it. I don't get it. And it's like, no, you could get it too.
I know.
It's this weird thing that people do. People always feel like, yeah, but I won't get it. And it's like, what? And that's like did you see the videos of the spring breakers? And did you hear the interview with that dude that went viral?
The first kid?
Yeah.
Fuck that kid. His cheeks were all fucked up. He probably had fucking coronavirus on his cheek or some shit.
You said, like, I bet this dude's dad's got like a law firm or something.
For real, that kid's set. Like, he's on spring break. He's set. And he's got a job at his dad's fucking law firm already. Like, he's not worried about being on the news and getting discovered or some shit. Like, fuck those type of kids, man. Like, for real. Because they're the ones that are fucking it up for everybody else.
But the other thing that's mad annoying is that a lot of the governors, like some of the governors, don't believe in science. And they're just not. The governor of Florida is acting mad slow to do everything. Even the governors that are more intelligent are still acting too late. And then you have the governors who don't even believe in science, like in Arizona, the dude's just sitting around doing nothing. And it's like, what? Like, you do realize you have to shut your state down, right? You do realize that your medical system is going to get overrun, and it's going to get overrun, in due time. It's going to happen in the near future if you don't act now. But they just don't do it because they're not that smart, and that's really annoying. How do you not see what's going on in New York? How do you not see what's happening in that state right now? You think that that'll never happen to you? Because that's not the way viruses work. Of course it can, and it will happen.
That's why it's like when I get so mad watching Trump, like, even like get asked serious questions, like he's going to answer them legitimately. Like, it's like, stop thinking this guy's going to give you a real answer. And if we're all depending on what our state's going to do anyway, why do we even need Trump every single day telling us some bullshit? Like, let him come up and talk however so often. Come up in every 2 weeks and talk. Like, if I got to listen to what my state and my government is deciding to do, like, let that be the fucking answer. Like, why do we have to listen to Trump every day? Because it contradicts what our state is telling us. Like, I'm hearing from Governor Pritzker, like, ban at 5 p.m. and, we have this amount of masks and this and that. And then you hear Trump come up and it's like, we're giving everybody 2 million masks. And it's like, well, Pritzker just told me that we're getting no masks and we can't go out after 5 o'clock or some shit. So, like, it just confuses everything so much more. But, like, they keep fucking bringing him out every single day, like he's going to come out and all of a sudden be this miraculous savior and say some shit that all saves us all.
But here's the crazy thing, Corin. Like what you just described right there, it proves they don't know what they're doing, bro.
Exactly.
They don't know what it's honestly, it's like if you and me were president and a governor and like we just didn't have any communication and I go out and give my speech and then you go out and give your speech right after and there was no communication between us and like, so I say one thing and you contradict it and say the other thing. And it's like, it's a bunch of idiots who are running the government and they're not organized. They didn't get ahead of this thing. They don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. They're just like trying random things and hoping that it works. It's not working. The numbers are still skyrocketing. So I say this all the time on my show, but there's nobody steering the ship. Like there's nobody steering the ship.
That's
and then you
like,
and then you look at, you saw what Andrew Yang tweeted the other day. He said that he has a friend or a family member who went somewhere in Asia. He didn't say where in Asia, but they showed up They immediately got their temperature taken. Since they were a new arrival to the place, they were taken to quarantine but put in their own room in quarantine, right? And then for 2 weeks, they brought them food. And so they would come, they would check their temperature every day, and they would give them food. So, like, there's so much organization that literally every single person who enters the country goes through this very highly organized, structured quarantine to make sure everything's okay and that you're fine. Here, it's chaos. We don't even have, you could be, and I know because there were people in my own family like this, you could be sick with the exact same symptoms of coronavirus. And you call the doctor, and the doctor will be like, what are your symptoms? You describe the symptoms exactly like it is in coronavirus, and they're like, I think you're good. You don't even need the test. They're not saying that because they actually think you don't have it. They're saying that because they don't have enough tests. So they wait until people are short of breath and they're like about to die, and then they rush them to the hospital. Like, this is what's happening in this country. And now nobody knows what they're doing, man. And the crazy thing is they're like you and me. And actually, you know what? I think you and me would be a hell of a lot more on top of it. And we would be handling this a hell of a lot better, which is scary because we're two idiots.
Let me see if I could find this shit. So a girl that's on my Facebook is a nurse, I think. And she said, what are people's thoughts on attempting to place two people on the same, like, ventilator shits? And
wait, what happened? Somebody's asking me?
No, not you. She was like just saying, like, you know, to fellow healthcare professionals, what are your thoughts on placing two people on the same ventilator? Which is like idiotic. You can't do that. And I think she was applying, like, trying to get to that. That's what they're starting to do at most hospitals, is putting two people on the same ventilator shits.
Dog. Trump said something today like we got like 400 ventilators being sent to New York or something like that. He said something like that. Mm-hmm. And Cuomo was like, we need 30,000. 30,000.
Like, so if you're an NFL coach, you can fucking huddle up your whole team and talk about it. Like, why can't every governor go out to Washington and there just be a big ass meeting with Trump? They all get on the same page. And, like, yeah, obviously New York's going to be different from fucking North Dakota or some shit like that. But, like, you figure that out in the meeting. Like, instead of coming out and talking with your coronavirus team, you know, that Pence has or whatever they always keep saying, bring in every governor, get on the same page, and then report back to your fucking state. Like, you have to, there's teachers do that with their principal. They have meetings every month and they report back to their classrooms. And they're all on the same page. It's a unit. It's like we have a quarterback or like a coach that's coaching in the NBA while they're trying to play in the NFL or some shit. Like, it's just, they're not on, it's just, you're right. It's just such opposite.
But here's the problem. The supply lines for a lot of the stuff that we need, the masks, the ventilators, all the supply lines go back to China. So we're like dependent on China to get these super important things that we need right now in a crisis. But
So that's why they have like Ford and everybody working on masks and shit now.
Right, but Trump ordered, it's called, I think, the Defense Production Act, where he ordered private businesses to start doing things to help fight the pandemic. But after he declared that he was going to use it, he didn't do Dickie McGee's acts for 5 days. He said, we're going to do this. And then he didn't give any orders to any factories or any companies like, you guys are in charge of ventilators. You guys are in charge of masks. He didn't do it until like today. It took a bunch of days before he said, I'm actually going to do it. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here in New York. I'm looking at the number count go up, 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 up. I'm talking to our friend who's a doctor. He's like, bro, we're literally about to run out of supplies like within this week, son. Within this week, we're running low on all the medicine. We're running low on the masks. They literally stopped taking any other patients that weren't COVID patients. They got 5 floors of the people. Like, as the government's kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that, and then they're just sitting around.
That's what I'm saying.
As that's happening, the numbers are going up. What?
Everything is we're looking at, and we're about to do something, but they haven't done jack shit.
Exactly. All he does is the press conferences to try to like calm the nerves of like the market. That's all it is like, all right, guys, we're on top of this. See, that's the thing about Trump. And to be fair to Trump, it's not only him. It's a lot of people that are politicians in general.
That's why I was sort of tight at Fauci. Like, sort of fuck him now again.
They're like professional bullshitters is what they are. That's what a politician really is in many respects. Like, their whole job is to go out there and almost try to pretend for the nation, like, I got this, like, it is under control. But, like, what do you do in a situation where it's clearly not under control? Then it's clear that you're just BSing us and you're doing it every single day.
Yeah.
Like, you go out there and you give your little speech and you have, like, a couple facts that you could throw out there that make you look semi-decent. And then, you know, when people ask questions, you tap dance around it, but you do it in a professional way to make it seem like you're on top of it, but you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. That's why
yeah.
Corin, the fact that he came out, like, now he's literally thinking about saying after 2 weeks, all right, everybody go back to work. Yep. Quarantine over, even though we're not even at the peak of it yet, and we won't be at that point. The fact that he's even considering that should prove to everybody they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea whatsoever.
They couldn't have, because no one could have anticipated this shit. But he's not even pretending to not know what he's doing. You know, like, at least Obama could maybe get out there and make it look like he had a plan.
He was good at pretending. Yeah, he was good at pretending. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And I think these blow-ups, like when Trump blew up on that reporter the other day, and
I like that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because the question was so stupid.
Yeah, but I think all of that shit is tactical. I think that's a way for now to change the conversation a little bit of, like, he doesn't know jack shit, to Trump blew up on this reporter, and, like, now you got people siding with the reporter or siding with Trump, and it just takes your mind off of the actual coronavirus and asking Dr. Fauci a question or some shit, because now it's that's the conversation now. And I think he does that shit on purpose.
Nah, because I don't think he's that smart. I just think he's kind of like shooting from the hip. He's just shooting from the hip, man. That's why, like, he'll say something in a press conference, and then Mike Pence will give his speech and say his words, and Mike Pence will just contradict everything Trump just said. Like, Trump was talking about the ventilators, and he was like, you don't understand, guys. See, we didn't need any more ventilators. We had so many ventilators. We thought we'd never need more ventilators. And then now they say, oh, we need hundreds of thousands more ventilators. Hundreds of thousands? Where am I going to get hundreds of thousands from? It's a very complex machine. It's very highly computerized. And then you have Pence comes up after, and he's like, actually, ventilators are very simple machine to make, and we're making them very quickly. So he's just like, he's winging it. He's just winging it. He's up there. I'm shooting from the hip.
I know. I don't know. I think he knows what he's doing. Like, even when he's just like, when he said that shit about, like, there's too many reporters in the room and maybe we cut it down to 2 or 3, like, he smirks because he knows that's the shit that's going to get, like, brought up on air.
Yeah.
That's what people are going to talk about.
And I enjoy those ones, though. I can't lie, because it's funny the way he says it when he's talking about the reporters. Like, wouldn't it be good if we got some more of the fake news people out of the room?
Oh, like, it's hard not to laugh at that shit, but then you step back and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this guy is joking because she coughed on, or she said she had a low-grade flu, and he was like, whoa. Like, you don't do that, man. Like, you don't do, like, she shouldn't be there. Like, if she had a low-grade flu in this time right now. Are you kidding me?
That's what I said. Trump's like made in a lab to be the last person you would want to lead in a crisis. Like, when everything seems like it's going okay, all right, it's funny, whatever, who cares? Let him do his thing, right? But when you have a crisis, it's like, oh my God, that's the last dude I would want in charge. Because he's unsteady. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing, like, steady about him.
Yeah. It's I can't watch those, man. And like I said, just move the time back like an hour or some shit so we can get the full Ellen. Like, that shit, like, or do it an hour earlier when the Kelly Clarkson show is on. So like
Kelly Clarkson has a show?
Yeah, she got a show now, man, and she's trash cakes.
Sorry, Kelly. I know you're a big secular talk fan. I'm just kidding.
But she's got a show. She took Steve Harvey's slot because supposedly he got into it with NBC and they got rid of him.
Steve Harvey lost his show?
He doesn't have his shit anymore.
What?
And his shit was taken off too. People
he was on TV forever.
People fucked with his show OD, and like I would watch his shit because, like, my theory always is,
you always
have a clean set and your colors look good, and like your show looks fresh and clean. That's why I like Ellen, because it's like. It's just that crispy. Like, it just looks crispy.
Nah, because I'm big on the colors thing, too, but I can't stand watching Ellen.
But her shit just looks, like, doesn't it? Like, when Twitch comes out and he starts dancing and shit like that, I'm like,
nah. The colors that are most on point is actually Fox News. They have the best colors. They got that bright blue That like lively blue. I love that color.
Their shit is a little bit too, like theirs looks like the colors are bleeding a little bit. Like it's a little too red. It's a little too blue.
I mess with that. I like it.
Like there's a crispiness that NBC
You always
had.
hated Steve Harvey. Go back to the Steve Harvey thing because you never liked him. You never thought he was.
I
fun.
hated Steve Harvey, but like he would do.
I used to watch
Hundreds.
his show in the '90s. Do you remember his show in the '90s when he had a sitcom?
Yeah, when he was like the principal or some shit, and Cedric the Entertainer was like the assistant principal, and Regina would come in and just be like,
Yes.
like who the fuck was Regina, and how did she get that job at that high school? Because she didn't do shit. She would just be like, Steve, there's a fight down the hall, and like you'd be like,
he would
who
make
the
his
fuck
Steve
are
Harvey
you, Regina?
faces.
Like yeah, like
Half of his comedy is just making faces. Like he just does his faces. Like looks at people like they're dumb.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah, like half his comedy is just like doing funny looks. Like
Yeah, but what was Regina like? She worked in the office.
I don't remember, but I know Steve was a teacher. He wasn't a principal. I think maybe Regina was the principal.
No, Regina definitely. She was just.
I'm
like,
telling you, bro. Regina may have been the principal.
No, I think Steve was the principal. I think Cedric was like some assistant principal, and she was like the office receptionist or some shit. Because I remember she would have the desk outside of someone's office.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man.
And didn't like Jamie Foxx have some cameos in there or some shit?
The Steve Harvey Show is a sitcom on the WB from 1996 to 2002. It was on for a hot minute.
Look at this lineup. They had Wayans Brothers, Jamie Foxx shit, whatever that show was called.
Oh, I watched that show too. I like that show too.
I think it was called Jamie Foxx Show.
I think so too. Yeah.
And then they had the Steve Harvey Show, like bang, 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 3 in a row.
They hit you. That was like the black TGIF.
Like that was
even though TGIF had Family Matters. TGIF had Family Matters, but that was the only black show in the TGIF lineup.
That was on Channel 11, right?
TGIF?
Yeah.
I don't remember what TGIF was on, but I lived for that.
Family Matters?
For Family Matter. It was, I don't remember the order, but it was like Family Matters, Full House, Boy Meets World. Like they just hit you one after the other, where it was just like banging sitcom after banging, Step by Step. Remember the show Step by Step?
Yep. Wonder Years was a little before that, but like it would still be in that lineup prior, like a little early.
Nah, we just missed out on the wave. Like I feel like Wonder Years is like your brother's age and my sister's age.
Yeah, like we caught like 1 or 2 years of the shit though.
Maybe, but I never really watched that one that much, to be honest with you.
I don't
all
watch
the other ones I watched.
But I remember it like being on.
She was the principal, like I said.
Regina was the principal?
Yes, she was the principal.
Where was that school located? Because
it seemed like it was on some New York City or Chicago.
I feel like mad shit always used to be happening in that school, and I'll be like, how the fuck is this lady running the school? Like,
Chicago.
She had no control over the shit.
Booker T. Washington High School in Chicago's West Side.
And Steve was a teacher?
Steve was a teacher, yeah.
And who was Cedric?
Cedric was the gym coach.
Okay, Then there was a light-skinned lady then who was like the office secretary.
Oh yeah. She used to be in All That. Remember? What's her face? What's her name?
Like a high-pitched voice or some shit.
No, we're not thinking of the same one. I'm thinking of the fat woman.
Nah, it wasn't a fat lady.
Main character: Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Merlin Santana, who played Romeo, William Lee Scott, who played Bullethead. Wendy Raquel Robinson, that's Principal Regina. Terry J. Vaughn. Tracy Viller.
Shout out to Bullethead. Do you think
Lori Beth Dinberg? Yes, again I'm right. Lori Beth Dinberg played one of the characters. That's the one from All That. She played Lydia in the show.
Oh, Lydia sounds familiar. What was her name?
Lori Beth Dinberg.
Beth Din.
Denberg. Denberg. Kel was in it every now and then. Kel and Keenan went on it a few times.
I'm thinking of a different.
Oh, I know who you're thinking of. You're thinking of Levita.
Yes.
With the high voice. Yeah. Black girl Levita.
Levita. Yep. Yeah. I always thought she was the principal because she always had the fresh ass.
She was like the secretary to the principal.
She always had the suit on. No. Okay. This lady, I thought this lady was the principal. In the blue.
You got the whole cast mixed up. OD.
The lady in the blue, I thought was the principal.
Wait. Lady in the blue, I can't really see because it's blurry, but I think that's Regina.
Okay,
That's-
maybe.
That's
And then
Regina.
the lady in the green was definitely the secretary because she was OD obnoxious.
Yeah, with the loud voice.
Yeah.
I can't see because it's blurry, but yeah, you got it right, but you just got the names mixed up or whatever. But you know how you always watch, like you say, you always watch those daytime TV things when you're at home. I feel like being at home sick on a school day or something. This is when I would definitely watch some Steve Harvey show stuff. Even in college, I remember that like I'd be like sick at home or something, or it would be like middle of the day, and I'd have a class in the morning and then a class at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd have like a 9 a.m. class and then like a 4 o'clock in the afternoon class. In the middle of the day, I would just be at home
That shit would be
watching
on, right?
reruns of the Steve Harvey show and the Jamie Foxx show.
That shit would be on at that time, but it would also be on. It would also be like a 12 o'clock one at night banger too.
Yep. And yo, every now and then there's that old school like Nickelodeon, I forget the name of the channel. It's like Nickelodeon Splat or something like that. And it's like all the old school Nickelodeon shows.
Oh, now?
Yeah, it might be now. I don't remember though.
It used to be Nick and Night.
Yeah, no, now it's a network and they don't call it Nick and Night. They call it something else.
Splat.
But no, I think it might be called that. And like they'll just hit you with some bangers late night. Like every now and then they'll throw on like a Keenan and Kel, and that's literally my number one show all time. And I'll just watch it.
I'm about to say a mad unpopular take right now.
Hit me with it.
I don't think I gave this show the proper like due it deserves, but I don't think I ever really fucked with Martin.
I don't think I did either, actually.
But I think that show was like gold. Like, I just think the colors are dull.
I'm gonna hit you with something right now, and I want to see what you say about this. Yeah, I never fuck with Martin. I never did.
But people love Martin.
No, but I'm gonna hit you with something else right now. Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
I don't never really fuck with that shit.
I fuck with that shit.
I don't even remember that shit really being on. I feel like that was really before our time too.
All right, but now hold on. Now I'm gonna hit you with. So
there
we're
was a
doing
show,
all
City Guys.
We're doing all the black shows. Now let's talk about some of the white ones.
It's kind of fucked up how like they would just have friends that would be mad successful, and they'd be like, let's come out with Martin. They would just like come out with some black shit that came out instead of white shit.
But I never liked Friends. Did you like Friends?
Hated Friends.
Yeah, I didn't like Friends.
Friends
all right, hang in with Mr. Cooper. I'm actually surprised that you never watched this.
Man, I didn't really watch that one too much.
Oh, I know why you didn't watch it. It was 1992 to 1997 is when it was on.
Yeah, see that shit. Yeah, that shit was before our time.
No, but I watched that. I don't remember how or why I watched that, but I definitely watched that. But anyway, so the white ones now. I'm not gonna front. I liked what's it called with Tim Allen? Home Improvement.
Oh, didn't really like that shit.
You didn't like it? I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I'd watch Home Improvement.
I don't even like. Would he get caught up in some shit every episode? Like, what was his thing?
Let me tell you, like, if I tried to watch it a little bit today, it doesn't hold up, man.
I'm sure, because isn't he mad conservative too?
Yeah, now I know I didn't know at the time. I'm a kid who probably didn't even have any politics at that time, but yeah, he's conservative, and now I don't know if maybe that's impacting the way I watch the show now when I've seen it, but like I have no interest in it anymore. But if I go back and watch like Keenan and Kel or something, I still love it. It still holds up, but Home Improvement does not hold up.
I like shows that have like I like that they were creative, that they never show like the guy whose face was on the mask.
That was
the fence.
That was
Home Improvement.
Yeah,
but like I like that the show always had that. Like I didn't really like the show, but I liked tuning in when the guy would be on the fence because like I feel like there was one episode where they might have showed his face or some shit, and I was like, is this the episode where they show his face? And like I like that like there was like that mystique of that guy's face never being shown.
Yep.
Like that was a cool thing that they did.
I like that too.
More shows should do shit like that.
I just typed in Saved by the Bell.
Mm-hmm.
It went from 1989 to 1992. That's all it was?
1989 to 1992?
It says Saved by the Bell is an American television sitcom that aired on NBC from August 20th, 1989 to May 22nd, 1993.
Nah, it can't be. Can't be.
A retooling of the Disney Channel's Good Morning, Miss Bliss. The show follows a group of high school friends and their principal. Okay, hold on. The show spawned 2 spin-off series, Saved by the Bell: The College Years, which was 1993 to 1994.
That was only 1 year?
Yeah, what are they talking about? A primetime series that follows several of the characters, Saved by the Bell: The New Class, 1993 to 2000.
Nah, that wasn't Zach Morris in them, I don't think.
Then that doesn't count.
Zach Morris is in some new show.
It was only 3 years, 1989 to 1990, or that's not 3 years, that's 4 years.
I really like him as an actor. Mark Paul Gosselaar.
I've only seen him in a handful of things other than Saved by the Bell, but I can't. He'll always be Zach Morris to me. See, that's the problem. A lot of actors run into that problem, is that they get typecast. There's certain actors who like only appear to be an evil person, and so they only play the evil role. But Zach Morris, in my mind, is always Zach Morris.
He shook it a little bit. He
did, but not to me is my point. Not to me. To me, he's Zach Morris, and I want to like.
He was in some law show that he was all right.
Yeah, NYPD Blue, I think.
No,
that's not it.
OD, not it. It was like Franklin and Bash or some shit.
Nah, you're bugging. He was in NYPD.
You're thinking
Blue.
of Donnie Wahlberg in.
Nah, I'm thinking of Zach Morris. I'm about to tell you right now. He's in NYPD Blue. Hard body. Watch.
I will put.
I'm clicking on it right now. Yeah, I'm right again. Mark,
it was in NYPD. What?
Mark Paul Henry Gosselaar is an American actor. He's known for his role as Zach Morris in Saved by the Bell, John Clark Jr. in NYPD Blue, and Peter Bash in Franklin and Bash.
Wow.
My shit was before your shit in the Wikipedia. How about that?
I'll give you that. That's props for knowing that shit, because I was like, Franklin and Bash was his shit.
You were like, clowning on me too.
I was like, this motherfucker is OD wrong, like on some next level shit. That's why I laughed, because I was like,
I know. I was a little offended by the laugh. I was like, why is he laughing when I'm like 75% sure I'm right about this?
Like what I thought you said was like, yo, what team does LeBron play for? And you're like, oh, he's on the Knicks. But nah, you were right, man. I give you props on that shit, man.
Yo, because I'm telling you, that's where I saw him like post Saved by the Bell. I had watched like 1 or 2 episodes of NYPD Blue. Wow. But to me, he's always going to be Zach Morris. And he probably resents that, too, that anybody looks at him like that. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to be, some people get typecast. No matter how much I might, for the rest of my life, if I wanted to do something else, it wouldn't work. I'm the politics guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's how people know me. You're the politics guy. Well, it's like when Damian Lillard tries to rap. Even though he's a good rapper, he's not the rapper. He's Damian Lillard, the baller.
Yeah, I guess. I think there's levels to it. Like Screech, he's fucked because like he was a cornball, like his whole shit, you know. But like Zach, I've seen him in more shits, and like he's a little dynamic. Like if you could freak the shit and really be good at it, like when you talk about sports and golf and your shit, people are like, yeah, he's the politics guy, but he can freak his shit, you know.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's just like, more difficult. It's more difficult to do it because you're not even given, like, if somebody hadn't done anything and they start doing something, people will give that person leeway. But if you're already known for that other thing, you're starting at like some negative position where it's like you got to work your way up to even hop the person who's not known for anything, because you're not this. Yeah,
when Shaq tries to do DJing, it just looks weird.
Yeah,
he could be nice as fuck, you know, like, but
nah.
It's like, nah, chill. Like, you're not a DJ, you know?
Yeah, of course, because people want the world to make sense and almost like be simple. And so if you're known as X, then you're X. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't viewed, and I'm guilty of it like anybody else is. People aren't viewed as like multifaceted individuals that have multiple layers and different aspects of their life. They're just viewed as like, you're that, you know, like with LeBron. Yeah. LeBron is one of the best basketball players ever. Full stop. It's like, you don't know what he's like when he's at home with his kids and with his wife, and is he a good dad, and, you know, all these other layers to him, who he's friends with, how long have they been friends, like, what do they talk about? Maybe they don't talk about ball at all. Maybe they, you know, like, just don't know.
And you also, like, there's also a little bit of resentment you have, because it's just like, Shaq, you wouldn't have been able to be a DJ if you weren't the most successful basketball player. So, like, get the fuck out of here and let the dude who worked his way up to become a DJ be a DJ.
I think you're freaking. That point is even better than you realize, I think. Because that might be the reason subconsciously why everybody wants people to play their role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of that exact point.
Yep.
Because if you're somebody who, and they have this debate every time when Steph Curry likes to play on the web.com tour, which is the minor leagues for the PGA Tour. He plays one tournament a year, near his hometown. And there's a debate that happens every time about it because they're like, yo, the only reason why you're allowed even into it is because you're Steph Curry and you're the basketball player. So it's almost like you're taking away a position from a dude who's been grinding it out there on the mini tours, trying to earn a living, probably not making a living, probably like making next to no money, but he's out there playing golf all the time, and he's trying to make it on the PGA Tour and work his way up, and you're taking that spot from him. So I think that might be why people feel like, yo, just stay in your lane, because it's viewed as like the only reason you're even in the conversation for something else is because of the other thing. So be dedicated to the other thing,
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, like, I get tight, and I said this to Molly the other day, like, we live in such a fucked up world where it's just like Tom Hanks, like Miley Cyrus is talented, but her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, like all these celebrities, they just breed their children, and then they're going to become famous just because their parents are famous, like, so like, yes, there's going to be like outliers who break into the system, like Justin Bieber, broke in through YouTube and all this shit, but like, if your parents a movie star, like you're probably going to be a movie star. And it's like, whether or not you're good at acting, you're going to become good because your father's Tom Cruise or whoever, know?
But what's interesting to me though? It's genuinely interesting to me. Like if certain celebrities or athletes or whatever, they have their kids and the kid goes on to follow in the footsteps of the parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder what it's like for somebody who never wavers off that path. Like, and what I mean by that is the kid knows that there are expectations of him or her to do a certain thing and excel at it. And they kind of like embrace that role and they move forward with it. And it's just normal to them to do those things. I'm curious about that because I feel like you and I are so not that because, you didn't necessarily follow in the footsteps of your dad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't follow in the footsteps. My dad, owned a car dealership when I was a kid, and then lost a lot of his money by investing in the shitty stock called Prodigy, which ended up he thought it was going to be the next Google. It wasn't. It went belly up, and he lost a lot of money. But anyway, he was like in the car business, and so my point is, there's some people who almost have that path paved for them right in front of them, and they got to follow it and embrace that role. And then there's other people who are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'll try this. I guess I'll try that. You know what I mean? And I think I wonder what percentage of people, because this doesn't only apply to famous things. Like, I wonder what percentage of people follow in their parents' footsteps, whether it's like you're going to inherit the family business when, mom and dad retire, and then you're going to own it and you're going to run it and we're going to train you for that moment, or whatever it might be. Your father was a lawyer, you're a lawyer. Your father was an accountant, you're an accountant. Your mom did this and then you do it. Like, I wonder what it's like and what's the percentage breakdown of people who are just kind of winging it and never had a path versus people who kind of had a path laid out for them and then they followed that path,
I think it's, I think there's like that knowing there's like that safety net there that you can always fall back on that shit, like, so a lot of the times you see people, whether it's celebrity kids or, athletes' kids, they start to take their own route of like, let me try and do some banking or like do some shit that I'm actually interested in, let me, I don't know, be a scientist or some shit. And then like they come to find out that like that shit is a lot tougher than they really want to do and put the work in because they are probably in a multi-million-dollar family and I'm just stereotyping and judging, and maybe they don't work as hard and some do and they do become what they actually want to be. But others don't, and then they're just like, all right, let me fall back into the music business or some shit or the movie business or something because they know they can always fall back if they don't succeed in their original goal. Does that make any sense? Like
it does. It does.
It's easy for them to get complacent in their family business and just fall back on that. Then actually pursue some shit that's tougher. Like you had to really, really put a lot of time in to become super successful at your shit. Like my job in sports, I had to work super hard to grind to where I wanted to be.
Yeah, you had no foot in the door. You didn't have a foot in the door. It was just like whatever, like you're going to have to earn every little, you're going to have to find a way to get a foot in the door and then work once you get your foot in the door, which is no guarantee you even will get a foot in the door. Never mind be able to work your way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because sometimes the people that have the path kind of laid out for them, sometimes they're able to handle that and navigate it fine. And then other people, I forget the way the saying goes. Heavy is where is the crown on the. I'm gonna butcher the saying so bad. Heavy wears the crown. I'm gonna look this up. But anyway, like, it's hard when you have all these expectations, and like some people fail when they have the expectations and when they're expected to do X, Y, and Z.
We went to high school with Wynton Marsalis' son, and he would always tell me that he never wanted to play the trumpet because he'd always get compared to his father. And to this day, he never, I'm sure he played the trumpet before, but his uncle was Branford Marsalis, who played the saxophone. Father Wynton Marsalis, most successful trumpet player, but he learned the drums because he didn't want to be compared to his father. It's just like, I can't imagine what, like, Bronny James, I'm sure he's a good basketball player and he gets all the hype and like all this attention. But you're always going to be compared
to the best, one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
So
and like it's going to put you in positions where you could maybe play in the NBA or some shit. But like, are you going to think you're successful? Are you going to be, mad at yourself if you don't, win 4 championships?
He can't be like the level of like a Chris Duhon level point guard because then you're just a massive failure. Even though you made it all the way to the NBA, which is the elite of the elite.
Yep.
It doesn't matter because your dad is one of the best ever. Yep. So you're buns. Get away from me. Anyway, I think it's heavy wears the crown. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, that makes sense.
That means a person who has great responsibilities, such as a king, is constantly worried and therefore doesn't sleep soundly. So like you think it's good, like, oh, I'm the man, but it's like, actually, no, you're the man, but there's a lot that goes into that. Like there's a lot of responsibilities that go with that. And actually you might feel more free and liberated if you were the opposite and you weren't the king, if you were nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about the other day?
What?
And I think Trump's a different breed, but like, how does a president actually fucking go to sleep at night? Like, how can you go to sleep comfortable?
It's funny because I was talking about something similar the other day too, which is I don't think that almost at any point nobody got elected as president and then thought like, yeah, I really belong here. I think every one of them feels like they're semi a fraud. Like, yo, am I really in the White House, right? Like, seriously, what do you think Trump felt like when he walked into the Oval Office the first night? He must have been like, how, what? Like, what? How did I get here? But even Obama's like super smooth, and he's like a really like good politician in terms of how he sold his message. But the first night Obama walks into the White House, he's probably thinking like yo, how did I get here?
I used to do that shit in interviews. Like, I would freak my interview, and then I'll leave, and I'll just be like, what the fuck? Like, they don't know who the fuck I am. Like,
exactly,
what?
Yeah.
Like, even if they hired me, like, why are they hiring me?
Exactly. Yes. Like, even so you go into it and you're like, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to do my best, like, interviewee, like, presentation. And you freak it. But then on the way out, you're like, yo, this is crazy because I just presented a version of myself. That's not the real me. Like, if I walked in there and I was being me, you'd be like eating a bag of chips, like farting, talking about the NBA, and they'd be like, yo, why are you doing this?
As much as like we think Trump, obviously he's a fucking clown and he's a joke of a person, but I sort of gave him props in my head the other day. I was like, he's got to wake up every day and like put a suit and tie on and just pretend to be a person. Like, he puts a suit on every day. Like, to me right there, I was just like, that's sort of respectable.
Well, I always said that I give him credit on one of the things that nobody else gives him credit for, which is his dedication to making his hair look like he has hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single day, that dude spends, what would you say, Carl? I'd say at least 10 minutes every day.
You think so? What do you think his shit looks like when he wakes up?
That's what I'm saying, is his shit is buns.
Yeah, it's gotta be huffing, right?
You saw the video, right, where his shit in the back comes up,
Yeah.
and it's like it's almost like you could hear the horror movie music with it when it comes up, like.
He definitely has a hair and makeup team, right? On some like,
I mean, I
got
would think so. I would think so. But then again, like, what hair and makeup person would ever make his face that shade of orange? You know what I mean?
He definitely gets spray tan. But now I'm thinking about it, like Obama probably had a hair and makeup person too. Like they probably put makeup on you before.
Listen, it takes a lot to get Trump to look presentable. Like for him to do all the things that he does, that honestly, the amount of dedication he has to make that thing look the way it does, his hair. Because now it's at the point, like when everybody first looked at it, everybody's like, that looks ridiculous. But after like a year, you can't imagine Trump without it. Like imagine Trump without it.
No, I can't.
You'd be like, what? Have you ever seen the picture of Trump without his orange face?
Yeah.
And without his hair? Because it's terrifying.
Yeah.
The second you look at it, you're like, damn, now I see why he does the...
Well, you see it when he like turns his face and like you could see the differentiation from like his tan to like his neck. You see the different color tone.
Well, like that picture that went
vision in my head, like, okay, that's what his face would look like.
Yes, that you saw the picture that went viral that I sent to you that I laugh at all the time.
Oh yeah.
You could see the like outline.
Yeah.
That was creepy looking. And he's also a lot fatter than he presents. Like he actually does a good job of making himself not look fat. But when you catch him at certain angles, he's fat.
Yeah, he's like just a girthy guy, and Molly hates that word, but like I think
he's
that's
fat.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's legit fat, but he makes himself not look fat by the way he wears his coats. You know what I mean? Like he's got the bigger, oversized coats.
He's got to wake up I wake up and I got work some days, and like some days are lighter than other days. He's got to go to sleep and then wake up, and every day is some shit. It's not like some day it's just like, I didn't get any emails today.
When you're president, you're gonna get blamed no matter what. Like it doesn't matter what's happening, you're to blame. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's like gotta get the president. Whatever the biggest problem is you could think of, everybody's reaction is president's gotta do some shit.
It's so crazy that like there's companies that are super successful, like Apple and whatever companies that Mark Cuban runs, and like there's like prototypes out there of what a successful company should look like and how it should be run, and HR departments and all this shit. But our government, like the biggest, I guess, company out there that's overseeing all this shit, is just a shit show. And it's just it's so crazy how disconnected we are from all this shit.
There's stuff that they could do that would definitely fix the problem, but there's so much money put into not fixing those problems. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like, what you were like, dog, we're all going to get a check. Like there's going to be a check in people's mailbox. And I was like, we're not getting a check. And
no,
like,
we're getting a check.
I said the day I walk out to my mailbox and I open this shit up and there's a check sitting there for like $1,000, and I get maybe an extra 500 because I got kids. Like for them to put all that shit together and figure it out and have the government like work with Illinois to figure out I got 2 kids and like, my wife does well. I don't do as well as her. Like that shit's not happening.
It's going to happen.
Not like me and my neighbor are not walking out and be like, you got your $1,000 check? I got my shit. Yup. Thank you. Like, I don't see it. I just don't.
You're getting a check, bro. Listen, here, let me explain it to you. What's happening right now with this pandemic is not like anything we've seen in this country since literally the Great Depression.
I get that.
Like, because even 9/11, as terrible as it was and how much of a shock to the system as it was, even that wasn't accompanied with a guaranteed, super prolonged, like, halt of the economy. Like, what we're looking at now is the economy is just grinding to a halt. And when the economy grinds to a halt, what happens is so many people who work in the service sector and who can't work from home, they just lose their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And when they lose their jobs, that means they can't pay their bills. When they can't pay their bills, that means they can't pay their rent, which means they get kicked out on the street. So what are we going to do? Are we going to live in a country where we blink one day and then all of a sudden 20 to 30% of the people are unemployed and there's like a crisis of millions and millions and millions of homeless people?
Sadly, yes.
Let me tell you something, man. It is just a lot easier to avoid the social unrest and all the problems that would come about from that happening if you just cut everybody $1,200 real quick, bro. And they're going to do it. But like I was telling you, there are terms and conditions. It's not like everybody's getting it. They're going to means test it. So it's going to be if you make $75,000 a year or lesser, and then you'll get.
So how are they going to?
Tax returns from 2018 and 2019. That's all it is. They look at your tax returns from 2018 and 2019. They determine whether or not you get it, and then you get a check cut to you. But there were people who were talking about better ideas, like Rashida Tlaib and Bernie Sanders were saying prepaid debit cards will ship these things out like today, and it will be $2,000 for everybody every month for the duration of the crisis.
Just send everybody a Visa gift card for $2Gs.
Basically, that's what they were saying. Like literally, like send them a debit card, prepaid debit card, or whatever. Like what you're describing. So, like, yeah, they're gonna have to do something because if they do nothing, it could look worse than the Great Depression if they do nothing. But the other thing is they're gonna marry it, Core, to a corporate bailout too. And here's what I can guarantee you. The corporations are going to get bailed out. You want to know why? Because they pay the politicians. So the politicians are going to look out for the corporations.
Of course, like when Donald Trump is talking about, so the owner of the Miami Heat is Mickey Arison, who owns Carnival Cruise Lines. When Donald Trump is saying that like his friend is Mickey Arison and like the cruise industry is hurting and they're looking at them helping, they're going to help them out. Like he's going to give him money. A dude who doesn't need money, like maybe sell the Miami Heat before you fucking look for a bailout from the fucking government. You know, like
exactly.
If I'm at home and I can't pay my bills, I got to decide, do we need 2 cars? Maybe we get rid of one of the shit so we could pay the bills. I don't get to keep my fucking basketball team. Like, I'm sorry. Exactly. Like, and that's just a case that I know because it's related to basketball.
But it's a good point. It's a good point.
But like there's so many other rich fucks that don't need the money that are friends with Donald Trump from when he was a businessman in New York City, you know, because they gave him money while running for president, that are gonna get mad money from him. And the thing that people always say is the system's built to fucking keep us down. They're not hitting us with any money.
They have to. I'm telling you, they're going to give. It's going to be means tested. They're going to do it. They've already agreed. They've already agreed to certain things that people will be getting money. That they have to do it. But the trick is they do that and people need that money. So how do you pass something for the people that you know they need? Well, they're going to connect it to a bunch of shit that's not needed, which is just giveaways to their corporate buddies. Now, here's the problem, Corin. So let's say, okay, these industries are all going to go bankrupt. The entire cruise line industry is going to go bankrupt. The entire casino industry, hotel industry, they're all going to go bankrupt. Okay, so the government rushes in and bails them out. Then what happens? Nobody's going to go on a cruise still for at least another year because we still got a pandemic. People know that. They're not stupid. So what's going to happen? A year from now or 2 years from now, at most, you're going to have a lot of these industries come right back to the government, hat in hand, saying, yo, I need another bailout. So what I said should have been done is that every industry that says that they want a bailout, you give them an option. And you're like, yo, here's what we can offer you. We're not bailing anybody out. We saw what happened in 2008 when we did that, and then they paid bonuses to the executives or whatever. And, you know, these people never made good decisions, but they got bonuses, which is crazy. They bankrupted their companies, and then they get bonuses? That makes no sense.
Yep.
So how about we temporarily nationalize all the businesses? What that means is the government will temporarily own all of those businesses. So the cruise line industry will not go out of business. The government will just own it. And then whatever the demand is right now and however many people cruise, it's going to be nobody for at least another year or two. Yep. So, okay, don't worry. When business picks back up, then we'll hand the industry back over to whatever the dude is who owned the industry. You know what I mean?
So the government benefits from that because they get the money?
No, nobody really benefits from that. It's just
like what's the benefit of the government running this shit rather?
Because we are the owner of last resort. So either they're all going to go bankrupt and all of Las Vegas is going to be out of business and there's going to be no more casinos. You know, over 50% of the hotels around the country are going to go bankrupt. There's going to be no more hotels. You know, there's going to be no more cruise ships. Either that happens, or we could just say, no, the government will temporarily own it and we'll keep doing payroll. So for people who work there, they're going to keep getting paid. And we're just going to stay in this position until the economy picks back up, people start using it again, and then we'll hand the industry back over to the owners.
Yeah, it's just like a cruise control until...
It's a cruise control situation. We are the owner of last resort. Okay, you got problems? Okay, you're going to go bankrupt? Okay, there's going to be no more industry here and there? Fine, we'll step in and we'll own it. That's exactly what's happening right now in Spain with the hospitals. And I think maybe with the airlines too, but I'm not sure about that. But like the idea is, okay, this is a time of crisis, this is an emergency, so we're going to take emergency measures. Part of the emergency measures are all these industries that are about to go belly up and go bankrupt, we'll step in and we'll own them until everything gets working again, and then
I
we'll
like
hand it
that.
back over. Yeah,
I like that.
that's the only way to weather the crisis without like really, really going into a deep depression. Because let's say we didn't bail them out, okay, and we didn't nationalize them. You know what would happen then? We would lose like all of Las Vegas, all the hotels, like they would all go out of business. So what do? You got to do something. So I hate the bailout idea specifically because of what you were talking about, because a lot of people are going to get a lot of money and they don't deserve it. A lot of people who are living high on the hog and who are executives and owners are definitely going to walk away from this with more money, even though they
Yep.
shouldn't.
Yep.
And what's that going to do, Corin? It's going to incentivize them. Hey, no matter what I do, I'm always going to get paid. Whether I
Yep.
get paid in the marketplace or whether I get paid with the government rushing in and paying me money, I always get paid. So they're
And
not
they're
going to
still
learn
going to lay
anything.
people off, and
They're still going to lay people off. The rules are going to be so weak that the government would attach to it. So I don't want to bail them out at all.
Mhm.
But you know, if they do bail them out, which they're going to, then at least we should have strong rules there where they say you can't pay any bonuses to your executives and you can't buy your own stock to pump it
Well,
up and you can't
just
fire people.
just little fucking things. Like, again, I'm bringing it back to sports, but like United right now, they are fucking struggling. American Airlines
All the
fucking
airlines, man. Yeah.
struggling. The Dallas Mavericks Arena should no longer be named the American Airlines Arena. Like, just like it should just they. How do they afford that? There should they.
Yeah.
I'm sure
What
with
do you
that
know how
comes,
much how much do they pay for that?
well, they probably pay like a dick ton of money, but they get like a 8-10 year contract or something like that. But they get
Right.
locked
Yeah.
in. But there's got to be some clause where it's like they can't pay all that money anymore or some shit. Like, and I'm sure they have beautiful suites with unlimited food and all this shit inside the arenas for basketball games, and they get all these tickets. Like, that right there should just be all gone. Like, they should be allowed to
Yeah.
do nothing but operate a fucking plane going up in
I
the
know.
sky and coming down. Like, I don't want to ever go to a fucking Bulls game and have to see United Center or like walk by the United Club or like some shit and be like and see people having fun in there, because like they're bleeding money. So
Yeah.
anything
Mhm.
like fun should not be allowed for any of
Yeah.
these companies that are struggling right now. Like, I
Yep.
don't even want another fucking carnival with animals and shit because it's associated with Carnival Cruise Lines and shit like that.
But
Like,
when they get bailed out, you're right. They never even take a cut. It's never
nothing.
even like we're gonna bail you out, but here like you gotta here are the rules. You gotta make sure you stop doing stupid stuff like that. You know,
Like,
you gotta
people
take a
whose
pay cut.
houses get foreclosed and taken. I'm sure if their name's on the mailbox, that's the first fucking shit that comes off the mailbox. It's not like you could foreclose a house and
Yeah.
leave your fucking last name on the mailbox.
Yeah, it's
Like,
different. It's
your
different
company's-
rules for them and for regular people. Like the corporations get the special treatment, and
Your
that's
company's
why.
bankrupt, but you could leave your name on United Center. Like, it just doesn't. This shit doesn't make sense, man. Like,
Now
it's
you know what it should be. It should be hand sanitizer arena
dead ass. Like, shit,
because they
bounty,
got all the
like,
money now.
yeah. Like, fucking mac and cheese is hard to get right now.
Toilet
Like,
paper arena.
toilet paper is blowing up right now. Like,
Yo, it's crazy how they're like everybody's struggling, and then there are like 4 or 5 industries that are low key like,
watering it.
yo, we're now billionaires. I
just
made a
see, like,
joke on Twitter.
Like,
that, like,
Walmart executives are probably like, yeah, this is bad, but yo, we're killing this shit right now. Like,
yeah, all like, all the grocery stores, all CVS, Walgreens, like the pharmacies, like you said, Walmart, the big stores, Target probably.
like cleaning supply, like, yeah, like disinfectant wipes.
Clorox. Are you
Yep.
kidding me? Clorox and Purell. Like these people are like, yeah, we hate that there's a pandemic.
I know, right? Yeah.
But they're the only ones though. Everybody else is like every other industry is
It's
struggling. You know how
I
many
don't-
poor waiters and waitresses probably got laid off? I feel so bad for every waiter and waitress
You know,
because they're just living paycheck to paycheck and they
Can't
just
imagine.
immediately got canned. And see, these are the people I'm talking about, Corin. They can't pay rent on April 1st. So that's why they have to cut checks, and they're going to do it, but it's going to be tied to stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Like, they know that freaking Chris Crapstein is living in an apartment on the 6th floor in Brooklyn and got laid off being a waiter, and he's going to get a check. And then Sarah on the 3rd floor, who's a waitress at like the local cafe on the corner, her mailbox is going to get hit with $1,000 check. Like, I just don't see it. Like, I don't see it happening.
Well,
like,
it's also not unprecedented, by the way. I should also say we've done similar things in the past. Let me take a look here.
I just
think
Bush. I hope it happens. I really hope it happens. I just find it very hard. You know, who is even? Are there functioning people in the government to like go through all the tax return shit to like find a Joe Smith in Nevada who got laid off, who was like working at the local buffet or some shit?
I hope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really break the shit down, it sounds fucking crazy, but maybe I just don't know how the ins and out of everything work.
Okay, here, I'll tell you right now, because I found the thing I was looking for. In 2008, I knew I vaguely remembered this. In 2008, they cut checks of $600 to $1,200 to taxpayers. So yes, they know how to do it. They just go by the tax returns. But you're right. Like, and that's why I was screaming that they needed to do it quickly, because it takes a little bit, and we got to make sure people get the checks before April 1st. Or you have to mandate that people can't get evicted or foreclosed on or whatever the hell, you know?
Why before April 1st?
Because that's when rent is due.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah,
so
they're not doing any sympathy shits on rent or anything, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying is they were acting like they were going to, and then it looks like they're not going to, and then they're trying to squeeze it into the bill, but then there are terms associated with it, and it's like, yo, just cut the damn checks and just make a rule people can't get evicted or foreclosed on, at least until this pandemic is over.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to do that. What are you going to do? You're going to kick 1 million people out on the streets, and then what? They're going to get the Rona, and then it's going to be a wrap. And then they're going to spread it more and more, and then these poor people, like, our country is such a mess, man. Jeez.
I didn't follow this too closely, but the lady who sold her stocks or whatever, and like that whole shit when that was going down.
Yeah. They what happened was they had a meeting where they were basically told about the coronavirus situation, and then they dumped a whole bunch of stocks because they knew the market was about to crash. And so it's basically insider trading.
And nothing has happened to that lady. She's still tweeting photos saying we're trying to blah 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 blah. Like,
shameless.
I get so mad about this shit, man. And like, people, like, I'll put shit on Facebook just because I got so much time on my hands right now, and I'll tweet out shit like the Fauci shit. I'm just frustrated with all of this shit, man, because it's just it's hard to watch this shit and just see how corrupt all of this shit is on the high levels, and then how fucked people get.
And then meanwhile, regular people are struggling, man.
Struggling bad, man.
I know people who legit grown ass people, bro, crying. That they cried because of all this that's going on. They got to worry about the bills. They got to worry about their kids. They got to worry about the Rona. They got to worry about all of it. And it's
nice and cushy to see Glab Gadot, or where the fuck Glab Gadol and all
Gal Gadot.
Gal that's great. Let's sing a fucking Beatles song. Like, shut the fuck up and donate money or something like that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in his hot tub with his ponies running around him and all this shit. Like, it's nice for the celebrities to do TikToks and shit, like, and show off their beautiful houses. I'd like to be chilling in a fucking North Miami house right now with A-Rod and J-Lo, and like have every amenity possible, like a pool and a basketball court.
Like, they don't realize what regular people are going through right now. They don't realize. And so the fact that they release it and they're singing, and it's like, yo, how about fuck you? How about that?
Yeah, like, no, I don't want to hear you sing Imagine All the People. I'm sorry, Steph Curry. I don't want to see you shooting a magic trick shot golf ball. Like, now's the time for all the celebrities to just shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. Like if I'm the CEO of Twitter, there's a block these next 2 months on celebrities' accounts. Like John Legend's wife. I don't want
Chris Teigen, she needs to chill.
I don't want to see them tweeting. Like, it shouldn't be allowed. Like let the poor people tweet right now. Like let the regular ass people tweet. This is our time, okay? I don't want to see your house. Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest this morning, take the show off, okay? Like I don't need to see your beautiful apartment, Ryan. They're ripping 3 different outfits and shit like that.
Yeah, so they're doing it from home too. You were telling me that you were watching these shows and they were doing it from their homes, and that like they are so awkward without the laugh track and stuff.
It's embarrassing, man, and it's like it goes to show that like these people, these celebrities that we build up, and like they're getting lines fed to them from writers. So like, yeah, they might come across as funny in the movie because like they've had 4 months to work on a fucking line and how to deliver a joke. When like I'd rather listen to a viral video on Twitter of like a real funny ass dude who's walking out of his garage like, "Hey, yo, mailman, you got a little ass dick." Like I would laugh at that shit. When like they're on TV now, when when I usually watch Kelly and Ryan, they'll have I don't know, the lady they had on today was the blonde lady from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You remember? You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart.
No, not her. It was the
mother,
the bigger lady.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
And she was in like this Cookie Monster onesie, and she had this probably like had to be like a six-figure painting behind her or some shit.
Just trying way too hard,
and you could tell like she said the same. She was on some Amy Klobuchar shit. She said the same joke. You could tell that like she told her friends the night before in her Zoom video conference or whatever, that went over well because she's a celebrity. And then she tried to say it the next day too to Kelly and Ryan. It was about like Tinder, and she was like, "Yeah, even dating now is like, you know, you got to social distance and see somebody from afar." And like Ryan Seacrest is like, and I'm like, like it was painful to watch. But here's my point: if she said that shit on air pre-coronavirus, she's gonna have everybody in the audience
laughing,
laugh tracker, clapping for her. So you're like, maybe that shit was funny, and I'm the one who didn't really understand the joke.
Yes, they try to make you feel like you're the crazy one if you're not like going along with their bubbly, cheery BS. And then meanwhile, but what's the crazy thing, Cor, is what? They stepped into our arena now.
Yep.
This is our arena. We don't need a crowd and people laughing and people clapping and people acting like we're special. We're just 2 dudes talking. And we're 2 dudes talking, so you know what happens? We talk like regular people where there's no weird, awkward silence, or if it happens, it's not like we're pausing for a laugh or something, or we're pausing for cheering. So now you see when they're put in a situation like a normal podcast conversation type situation, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act normal. They don't know how to act interesting. They don't know how to say anything interesting. They don't know how to get people, into what they're doing. So you see the mask is lifted now. The veil is lifted, and you realize these are just regular people who got lucky and kind of stumbled across a situation where they're in Hollywood and maybe they got picked up by a movie or a show and it took off, and then they happen to be in it, and so they feel like they're special and they feel like they're hot shit. You ain't Dickie McGee's axe. You're nothing.
So Bill Maher does his monologue, and he, has his buddies on his stage, and he seems like the cool guy, and he's funny, and his crowd is laughing. But then he goes on Rogan, and Rogan's just normal ass dude, like he's spoken to me when you've gone out there, and like we've just chilled with him in the green room. Down to earth, just super. He gets it. He's worked his way up. He's been through a lot, so
he's normal, super normal,
normal guy. But Maher, just when he was there, it was just awkward and weird. And to my point is, like, on his show, it's that comfort of he's got the crowd laughing, and like they know when the applause lines are and when his joke is over. So he comes across as like with it, and he's normal. But put him in some fucking real life situation, some real life conversation.
It was weird. It was
just awkward. Like
he was so plastic and weird and like.
And that's what those conversations are. Like Ryan Seacrest has never had to have a real conversation in his life. Everything is like Santa Monica, waitress. Like
he's the one example that's like he may have never had an honest conversation in his life.
Yep. Kelly Ripa
Because
too. Like everything is just like maybe when she was younger, but now everything is so filtered and it's through like my assistant or like, you know, she walks down all the nice streets in New York City. So I don't want to hear stories about like, I grew up in I'm walking in New York City. It's like, no, fuck you. You've never walked in Harlem. You've never been in the South Bronx. Like you've never turned down this street in Manhattan. That's some real shit. Like I hate that they talk like everyday human beings because they're really not.
yeah, I just the fact that you reminded me that Ryan Seacrest exists got me kind of pissed because he's like one of my go-to examples of like I'm the exact opposite of him as a person. Like it seems like he was trying, like all he wanted was to be accepted by like the cool, popular celebrity crowd, and so his whole career is just built around like I want to be accepted by them. And so he hosted like remember he hosted American Idol. Does he still host it? Is that even
Yeah,
still on? I
yeah,
don't even
I think
know.
so. I think it's
But like
probably
he has
season
that,
900.
and then he's got one of those he's got like a radio show where it's like he tries to be
He does everything. He does
he
the New
does
Year's
everything,
shit.
but it's like it's all like you know what I can't stand
It's
the
all phony.
celebrity news. Have you seen that? Like the thing that what's his face Slater from Saved by the Bell is on.
Oh, entertainment shit or whatever.
Yo, I watched that one time, like, because my mom likes to watch that, right?
He like
And when
broadcast from the Grove in California or some shit.
yo, I watched it. I felt like I needed a shower after watching like 10 minutes of it, bro. Because everything is just, oh my god! So let's take a minute and go take a look at whatever fill in the blank with some celebrity and what they're doing.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
like, and you got like the guy, like Mario Lopez looks perfect with his dimples and his makeup on his face and his hair perfect, and you could tell he like just worked out, and he's probably like forcing his wife to only eat salads because he doesn't want her to be even like 3 pounds overweight. And then you got the woman next to him who's like OD plastic and made of
Something
plastic.
Munez, Melissa Munez or
Something, yeah. And she's just like, she looks too perfect to be a human. And like, she's standing with the perfect posture and like talking. It's like so fake and bubbly and cheery.
OD white.
And you know damn well that the second they get home that night, like they're just like making a TV dinner and just like, I fucking hate this shit. And
Like I gotta take a fucking big ass shit.
exactly, but they try to make it look like they're on some next level. Like you're not like us. You're not. We're special. We're
That's
special
my point.
people.
It's like they're trying to be like, oh, we're cool. We could just get on a Skype message, but it's like,
No,
no,
you can't. Yeah, exactly. You literally cannot do that thing that you're saying you think you could do. You're the like
Exactly.
that's our shit. See, now you're stepping into our arena. That's what me and you do. We'll just call on this and just talk. Like you can't do that. You can't hang with them. What do you think is more interesting? Like whatever fucking conversation they would have or the shit that we're talking.
I agree. Like they had, I think his name is Jerry O'Connell or some shit, which I don't mind him when he's on their show in real life because like he seems like he's like I don't know, he seems like a nice guy, but like he's sitting in his robe in like some room that looks like it's like a fucking $3 million room. It's like all wooden and just fucking gorgeous. And like he's joking about Broadway and how they mentioned his show one time and like the ticket sales went through the roof. Like, you want to be fucking real, Kelly and Ryan? Like, bring a waiter on or some shit from New York City and just like get his perspective right now. Like, I'm sorry, I don't need to hear about Jerry O'Connell and a fucking Broadway show he's in right now. Or like, I don't need to see the director come on stage and think he's being cool sitting in his robe. Like, what's real is me waking up in some basketball shorts and like just my hairy ass stomach and shit, like popping on like video chat. Like, no one wears robes anymore unless you're a fucking fake ass person trying to like really like come across as like, oh, I just woke up in my robe and I'm gonna pretend to be normal this morning.
And they definitely can't relate to the waiter. You know, they definitely
Hell
can't.
no.
They have no idea what that person's going through. Meanwhile, they're just trying to like be cool and act normal on Skype, but like people are out there like, I literally cannot pay the bills on April 1st. You know?
I'm trying to picture Ryan Seacrest like having like if they had some regular ass waiter on, he would be like, hey, what's up, bro? How's it been going? It's like, I have no money. My restaurant just closed 2 weeks ago, and my landlord's still asking me to pay for rent. It's going pretty terrible. And Seacrest would be like, cool. Did you hear the new Selena Gomez album?
Yes, that's exactly what Ryan Seacrest would do because he's been like trained to be the least like substantive and human person ever. He's trained to be like a robot that talks about pop culture. Like that's what he is.
And Kelly would like try to side with them. She'd be like, yeah, when I grew up in New Jersey, it was pretty bad for us. Like, there were times where we couldn't pay the rent, but now I'm a multimillionaire, so I can't relate. I'm tired of the celebrities, man. I'm done with that shit.
Well, it's scary too that some people would watch that. It's like the women who watch The View and then they're like, damn, I wish I was one of them. Like, there are definitely people who watch Ryan Seacrest and Kelly or whatever. Do they have a show together? I have no idea.
Who was your combo?
I said Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa.
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay. So there are definitely people who watch that and they're like, oh my God, I want to be friends with Kelly and Ryan.
But those are all the people that are voting for Biden, low key. Like the
those are the Biden voters. Everyone, they're not voting for Bernie. They're not voting for Bernie. Those people.
Yep. Oh, and those are the people that low key are laughing at that bitch from Sabrina the Teenage Witch is like Tinder jokes and shit like that. Like people they fall for that shit. Like Ellen's audience, they're all like, Hillary Clinton supporters, and now they're Joe Biden supporters. Like,
they literally don't care that he can't talk. They don't care. I run into it all the time. Like, I'll tweet just a video and I won't even say anything. I'll just tweet the video of Biden not being able to talk, and then people will be like, well, what's the matter? I don't see anything wrong with that.
And I texted you before he came on the View, and I was like, Biden's on the View, and like I just knew watching it, he was gonna fuck something up. And he's been hiding for however X amount of weeks. And my brother texted me and was like, yo, Bernie's out there freaking mad shit, doing town hall, like live streams, killing it. And just like has doctors on and he's educating people on shit. Biden goes MIA. And then all of a sudden today he wants to make his rounds on TV and like just OD. You've got weeks to prepare and you still fuck up.
He said the most vague stuff possible. Like it was vague. All vague, and then when it wasn't vague, it was him like tripping over his words and not being able to talk. It was a mix of like super vague and not being able to talk.
And when he has his teleprompter and it fucks up, he can't go off script on some like just go off the cuff shit.
Oh man. Not for nothing, we live in different worlds, man. When I talk like the younger generation versus the older generation, obviously there are exceptions and there are plenty of older people who this does not apply to. There are plenty of older people who voted for Bernie. But when you look at the numbers, people who are under like 35, it's like 80% or more that voted for Bernie. 44 and under, it's still like 70% that voted for Bernie. And then when you get to the older generation, it's like 80-20 in the other direction. 65 plus, like they're all voting for Biden. And then you got 20% that's sane. It's like, wow, really? It's just, there's such a there's so many divides in the country. And some of the strongest ones are like, the class divide is a strong one, but then there's also the generational divide. And it's like, we just don't see the world the same way. Like our parents' generation and us, we just like, we think they're crazy and they think we're crazy.
Well, when is the View asked Bernie to be on? And like, are they going to ask him legitimate questions?
He's been on a few times, but when he comes on, they do exactly what you would expect them to do, which is like they're
hit him with some negative shit.
They're dicks to him, yeah. And then Biden comes on, and it's just like he can't talk, and they're still acting like he's nailing it.
And they throw him softballs like, oh, Trump, he gets up there and he says this to the reporter, and it's just like some basic ass question where it's Bernie. It's all of a sudden they turn into fucking political experts and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they get fed these questions like hit him with this question, and it's like
it's sad, man. It's sad. But that's why and I feel bad too because I feel like the election was new media versus old media in many ways, and new media is just not big enough yet. Like old media still dominates the narrative,
But hopefully it'll change. I mean, it'll.
Hope so. I mean, I hope so, dog.
Maybe next presidential debate, it's like on YouTube or some shit, and you're moderating it or something like that.
They would never let me moderate.
You never know. You never fucking know.
Because I would actually ask substantive questions.
I know.
I would go right. The idea that I would moderate a debate and then not ask a policy question is the most insane idea I've ever heard. Everything would be about Medicare for all, free college, living wage, ending the wars, Green New Deal, tax rates. Like everything would be substantive and interesting, not just policy that's boring, policy that's interesting.
And you'd be so real if any of the candidates at any point were like, I was in, Wyoming and I was talking to Rick and his California. You'd be like, cut the fucking bullshit. Answer the question. Yeah. Or like if you start going down an Elizabeth Warren rabbit hole of like, well, my mother, when she grew up, I'll be, shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a fuck. I asked you a question. I didn't ask.
For real, nobody gives a
like,
fuck. Like, don't do
they
that.
go into these sob stories of like how they grew up, and it's like it's been so rough for them. We get it, but now you're on stage to become the president of the United States. So like all that shit got you there. Okay, we get it.
Yeah, I would never be picked for it, but I would do it if I was offered, and I would absolutely go in. So
I wanted to ask you, do you think Biden had pants on today?
yes, I do, because I think that he needs like 5 people in the room to even get the whatever they're using to operate. But I think his advisors were correct to keep hiding him, and I don't think he should be doing these things, because I said it when all the Bernie supporters were like, "Where's Biden? Where's Joe? Where's Joe?" I was like, "Y'all know where he is. He's hiding because he can't talk, and he should be, because guess what? It worked. It worked in the primary, and it might work in the general." So just let the pandemic happen and the market crash happen, and let Trump keep messing up, and then you just show up. Like, not for nothing, I think at the last debate they really fed him some drugs. Like, I think they gave him some caffeine or some Adderall beforehand. I'm serious.
Could be.
And then because he was much more coherent than he's been in a long time. If you slip him some food and crunch up some Adderall in there, and he has it like 30 minutes before the debate, he's
boom. Yeah, good money.
He was good. So I think that if you do that for the 3 debates with Trump, you might get out of this. Just hide him and only drag him out there for the debates with Trump, and that's it.
Oh man, it's fucking scary times. Scary times.
Dog, we might literally live in a simulation. Like, I'm not sure the world that we live in is real at this point, because of how crazy everything is. Because
it's fucking wild.
Did you see one of the things from the other day just broke my brain with everything that's going on with the pandemic and Trump is president and the Democratic nominee can't talk. Like all this stuff is going on. And then I saw that they postponed the Olympic Games, the Summer Olympics. They postponed it.
Okay, shit.
And the article on it said the announcement was made by a dude named Dick Pound.
Yeah, I knew his name. Yeah. You can't make this shit up, man.
Nah, I was like, yo, something snapped in me when I read that. There was something in my brain that just snapped, where I was like, nah. See, now they're just fucking with us. The universe is fucking with us. God is fucking with us. We might not live in a real. This might all be fake.
I think
it might not be real. You might be a part of my imagination or something. Like, this could all be fake, because it seems like I could just wake up now and be in a world that made more sense than the world that we're in right now. Like, it's at that dream world point. Like, you know how in dreams stuff happens, and it doesn't even have to make sense because it's a dream. It just happens. Like, you'll just be talking, and next thing you know, like, there's a ferret next to you talking to you, and then you're flying, and it's like, you don't question it because it's a dream. That's what this world is like now.
I agree with you with that. Like, this shit is not real life right now. Like,
you're on quarantine right now. You can't leave the house.
I know. It's
what is that?
It's beyond like some end of the world shit, because it's like, it's so crazy. Like, going out for a walk, people are walking dumb far out of their way. They're crossing the street to avoid another human being. Like, you're right. It's almost like this is some, like, we're in some OD deep dream shit right now. And in a month or something, we're all going to wake up and be like, that didn't happen, did it? Like this shit doesn't, like, everyone's on lockdown, which is just, it's not like celebrities, while I'm pissed at them, it's not like they're out doing their own shit, still making movies, and, everyone's cushy. We're all not doing shit.
Yup. Things felt, there was like, for a while, things felt somewhat normal. And then I feel like it started feeling like it wasn't real, like right when Trump got elected. Because it was like, you did what? Like, he won?
I think my deep dream shit started when Trump won, because I went to sleep and I was like, oh, Hillary Clinton will win, and like that'll be that. And I woke up and I checked my shit, and it was like Trump won, and I was like, nah.
That didn't happen.
I was like, I think it took me a day or two, and I was like, nah, Hillary Clinton won. Like, as bad as she was.
It's one of those, again, to go back to the dream world shit. Like, in a dream world, you're allowed to be like, okay, Trump won, but Hillary Clinton really won.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say that, and it makes sense. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like that was fake, and then it's gotten progressively more and more absurd since then. Like, now it's just... It's just ridiculous. But my brain is not grasping everything that's happening around me at this point.
Like, can we stop liking Hillary Clinton's tweets? Like, she's a terrible fucking human being. Please, whatever she writes, it's not funny. It's not from her. It's not original. It's not anything. Stop it. Like, give her shits like 6 likes.
Yeah, she needs to go away. She's not making anything better. All right, anyway, let's wrap it up. You got anything else you want to tell these beautiful people?
Susie, from Illinois, she's a big fan of yours. She met you out at Politicon. She's like a masseuse out in Illinois, and she said unfortunately like she can't work right now, so she wanted a shout out. So she says hi to you.
Susie,
yes, she's always on Twitter.
I hope you're doing okay in the quarantine, in the lockdown. Don't worry, because everybody is feeling the hurt right now, and everybody is in a weird way, even though we're more separate than we've ever been, we're also more together than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Because we're all going through the quarantine, the lockdown, and everybody's feeling it. So anyway, Susie, I hope you're good. Everybody else watching this and listening, I hope you're good. Listen, if you're one of those people out there that you know that April 1st you're going to have trouble paying the bills, whatever it might be, listen. At this point in time, I heard Joey Diaz say this, and I think he's right. They have to work with you. So if you say to your landlord, like let's say your rent is $2,000 a month, okay? If you say to your landlord, bro, I only got $500 for you this month, hit him with the $500. He'll understand it. Give him a little something. Let him know, like, I'm thinking about it, etc. And then the government's gonna cut the check. And point is, everybody, even though things are rough, even though things are terrible, things will get better.
Yeah,
they will get better.
Yeah,
and you got to convince yourself of that at a dark time like this, because it's not just you. Everybody's going through it, and just keep. You got this. You got this. It sucks. It's crazy. It's weird. It's a dream world, like me and Corin were just saying. But you're not alone, and you got this. So hang in there.
Yeah, no, it's well said. You're right, and I agree with you. I think the whole rent stuff. If you got a tough landlord that's giving you a hard time, you look at it this way. If you take it to the most extreme case, even the police would even be like, they'd be on your side. If it ever got to some extreme point, they'd be like, dog, she's fine. She's staying a month. So I think.
The fact that they're considering banning temporarily evictions, foreclosures, so on and so forth, should tell you everything you need to know, that there's going to be, you're not alone, and there's so many people in that boat, and it's not going to stand if they try to do you dirty,
Just control what you can control, and if this ever happens again, it makes you appreciate the relationships you had with customers beforehand, and it puts a little bit more emphasis on, real relationships with people and shit like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we love you. Hang in there. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.